Now, I don't know about you, but I have got a big love-hate relationship with Bitcoin, and I'm not talking love and hate because of the price, because of what's happened in the recent major pullbacks. I'm talking about Bitcoin itself and people's attitude towards it. I think the whole essence of why Bitcoin was created, why it was given to us mysteriously, has been lost. And I am now coming to the conclusion that because of how Bitcoin's price behaves, it's always been erratic and volatile. But is it getting pumped up a bit too much, just like things like Tesla are as well? It's become almost like a meme stock now, and that's not a good thing. It's going to, when it crashes down hard, and it's already having quite a big pullback now, but if it does get down to my $20,000 or $15,000 prediction, which I predicted here on this channel, I made a full video about it about a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, then what's people's attitude going to be towards it when, they was on the hype train, they're riding it up to 60 grand and over, buying every single dip without fail? What's their attitude going to be when they're completely wiped out and it drops down to 15, 20 grand? Are they really going to feel that enthusiastic about it? What about all the friends and family they've been telling, oh yeah, I'm making money every week, every month it's going up. It's got, 100 and X amount return on average every single year. It's a no-brainer, right? Well, how put off are they going to be if they see Bitcoin crash down hard like the rest of the stock market and lose, I don't know, maybe 70% of its value? Literally within the space of a week it can happen, or within the space of a few weeks. Now, I'm not saying this to be all bearish on Bitcoin. I'm just saying the essence of why it was created and gifted to us has been lost, and I do wonder if this is all part of a plan. And the reason I say it may be part of a plan is because Bitcoin for a long time has been under the radar of all the central bankers around the world, including the IMF, including the World Economic Forum. It's kind of been brushed aside as a joke for a while, but now it's actually gaining momentum. Maybe they don't want to give it energy and try and stamp it out straight away, because it might get people's attention that whole lot more. So instead they've kind of put on a public front of trying to brush it away. You get some people coming out saying negative things about it quite often, who are in those political circles. But have they looked at this as an opportunity, as a way of actually tarnishing Bitcoin's reputation, if you like, even though it's not obviously like a company as such? But maybe they've looked at it and thought, well, if we can get people to pump this up, say maybe throw out a few controlled opposition people, maybe a few social engineers or something on YouTube to pump Bitcoin, and say they're buying Bitcoin, saying that Bitcoin's great, blah blah blah, Bitcoin's the next new gold, and if they're pumping it up to be the next best thing, and it's going to be part of a controlled crash, well then it's going to really harm the reputation. If you think of something like the dot-com bubble, people that have been burnt that badly aren't really going to be too ready to get involved as quick, are they? And you think about all the people that are hyping Bitcoin right now, they'll be talking to their friends and family and saying, look, it's a no-brainer. Bitcoin gives you X amount of 100% return every single year on average, and this, that and the other. And the average person who's really not into the macroeconomics and into investing at all, they don't have a clue what Bitcoin is. If you start saying to them, you need a hot wallet, you need a cold wallet, you should put it in cold storage, this, that, the other, and you need to buy it through this exchange, and you have to go through this process in order to actually get some Bitcoin. It sounds very complicated and very daunting to someone who's not in the know. And even if you're fairly young, let alone someone who's older, who's not very technically savvy at all, I mean, that's another thing in itself, especially when if you do something wrong, your wallet can be compromised. If you're putting a lot of your wealth into that wallet, then that's quite a daunting and nerving thing. And my whole point here is to really get you to think about people's perception towards Bitcoin as I say, the whole essence in why it's been created has been lost. And what is people's future perception going to be of Bitcoin? Yes, it's deflationary in nature, because we're limited to only 21 million. There's probably only 18 or 17 million ever going to be circulated. But if people don't take it on board or give it any kind of value, then it's not going to be worth anything. Even if, per Bitcoin it goes back up to 60, 70, 100 grand, if it can't be used as a decentralized way of payment by the majority of people, then that's a big deal breaker for me. Don't get me wrong, I'll still own some, and I'll forever keep some, because it has those capabilities. But getting back on track to how I believe these central bankers are going about things now. How do we know the central banks don't own quite a lot of Bitcoin, and they're just waiting for a crash, a heavy crash, and they might just flood the market with even more Bitcoin in order to hurt the price even more? A few other things that have concerned me is Ron Paul has actually come out a few times now in interviews, and he's actually turned around and said that the government, US government or the Federal Reserve, could end Bitcoin in an instant pretty much. And he was very vague about what he is saying, but I've heard a couple other people say this as well. And these are people that have somewhat seen behind that iron curtain. So is it something we should take serious? Is he just saying that because he's a bit of a gold nut? Maybe. But I think it is something we should take serious. And I get the impression he's talking about not ending it through regulation, but talking about ending it through some other means, maybe some off the record type ways of doing it. Now, I don't know exactly how they would do that, because as if you're into Bitcoin, you'll know already, if they destroy every single computer in the world or on Bitcoin's network and just one of them survives, well then that computer holds all the information that's needed in order to boot the whole network up again, which is a fantastic failsafe. So I can't see them ending it through some kind of big EMP device. Is he talking about there's a way of corrupting the network? Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, if he starts talking about regulation, if that is what he's talking about, and they could just come out and straight up ban it, yeah, that will hurt the price and whatnot. But I think that would actually make it more attractive, and I believe these central bankers know that as well. They don't want to ban Bitcoin. They will only want to ban it as a last resort, I would have thought, if they're getting desperate. And that's the reason why they haven't banned it already. But do these central bankers hold quite a lot of Bitcoin behind the scenes? Now, this is something that's been talked about somewhat on different channels on YouTube. But of course, they're never going to come out on mainstream media and admit to owning any Bitcoin. And I know a lot of crypto fanatics will probably think that, yeah, the central banks will hold it because one day it'll become so valuable. There's been a lot of theories that maybe one day Bitcoin will become the world's reserve currency, and maybe it will. I hope it does, because we need something like that, something to keep our central bankers in check, right? But if they hold Bitcoin, I don't think it'll be for that reason. I think it'll be purely a strategic reason, so they can actually manipulate the Bitcoin market. They can dump a load of coins in when Bitcoin's crashing down in order to make the crash much worse, and they could obviously buy those Bitcoins back at a fraction of the value they was. They could also be doing something called painting the tape in order to pump up the price even further than what it would normally be. There's long been a lot of accusations that this may be going on behind the scenes, and because it's decentralized and unregulated, we don't know. I mean, obviously a lot of the crypto market is manipulated, much like the stock market, but crypto even more so. And the trouble is, we can't see at all who's doing it. So yeah, it's not good. And the more I think about this, the more reason I do believe that these central banks already do own quite a lot of Bitcoin. It just makes sense for them to own it. They don't care about money. They'll just buy as much as they can, maybe. maybe they'll do it dollar cost averaging or whatnot. Maybe they don't care, they'll just buy lumps of it, and that's why we've seen, maybe they're the reason behind the parabolic moves. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way you can track how much wallets have bought what, but they could have done it over a multitude of wallets anyway. And I wouldn't put anything past these central bankers in order for them to keep control, because they know when they move to a central bank digital currency, especially worldwide, then that's going to cause a lot of social issues. And if you're watching this video this far in, I'm sure you already know about that already. And also, if you are watching this video this far in, then you'll know how important it is for more people to see videos like this so they can understand the real value of sound money. Make sure you please do share, like, comment and subscribe. At least share this video to some of your friends and family, or share some of my other videos which talk about some of the mass issues we're going to have in the coming years, so they can be better aware and better prepare themselves. Please do comment below how you feel about Bitcoin in regards to the public's perception of it. What's your perception of the public's perception? Because my perception of the public's perception right now is they're just not interested in Bitcoin. You've got the fanatical group who are, religious on Bitcoin, and I think that will scare people away even further, which is a real shame. How do we get this message out? Like I say, we need to educate people on sound money and on how these central banks are ripping us off week to week, month to month, year to year. Fortunately, things are going to come to a head in the next few years, a lot more than what they ever have done. So people will be somewhat waking up and realising even more that the system's out there to screw them. So yeah, please do like, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.